Yo, what's up, guys? Check this out. This is a quick little video on elephants and the power of an elephant and the weakness of an elephant and how it always comes down to brain training. So here we go. Here's the power of an elephant. There's many stories of elephants not being able to break free in times of need. One of those stories is at some point in the U.S. history there was a circus that completely was lit on fire and all the animals were breaking free and going nuts, and they heard all these screams and all these ferocious noises and yells, and it was the elephants burning on fire because the elephants were still tied down and the elephants died. They burned alive. And as any of us would think, because we're smart people, we'd think, man, what kind of chain? What kind of chain had that elephant had that it couldn't break free? Big elephant, right? All these other animals going nuts. How could it not break free? Well, you're right about to hear something and learn something about the power of the subconscious mind via conditioning. Now, I don't care if that conditioning comes through hypnosis or that, which is concentrated thinking, hypnosis, concentrated thinking, or it just came through like the way the elephants got it, step by step, a little bit at a time. Here's what happened. Those elephants died because they had a very small rope. For an elephant, you'd consider it a string. Literally a string or a very small rope wrapped around their leg. How could they not break free? Well, you've seen some of those hypnosis shows. I think you might have, because there's quite a few out there, where someone is asked to pick up a glass of water that's in a deep hypnotic trance. Now, it's somebody who's willing to be in a trance, somebody who's curious and wants to know more about the power of the deeper mind. So one of those kinds of people who's curious goes in there and explores and practices being led through the trance. They cooperate, they go through it, and they get hypnotized that a glass of water weighs 1,000 pounds, and the hypnotist will ask, please now pick up that water. And the person coming out of trance, being back to logical state, says, oh, sure, I'll pick that water up. And then they can't pick it up. And what is happening is they go nuts, can't pick it up. What's going on is one set of muscles are firing while the other set of muscles are responding in perfect synchronicity to the original group of muscles firing. So it's an isometric exercise. It's like two hands pushing together the perfect amount of weight. One doesn't push the other one. They just sit still. You could exhaust yourself just pushing so hard. What happened is, with the hypnosis, they couldn't move the glass because one hand did like this, one hand did like that. What happens with those elephants is when they're baby little elephants, cute little elephants, just a couple 100 pounds, 300, 400, 500 pounds, small little elephants, they get a chain, a proper tight chain put on their ankle and knocked into a peg or on a post. And that baby elephant, being natural and harmonious as it is, looking for the law of the jungle to find its place, its natural rhythm and harmony, to be in accord with the way things work in its pack, it wants to move around, wants to explore and learn about how its body works, hang out with the others, see what's going on over there. Takes a walk and gets stuck. It's got that big chain. Can't move. Fights the chain. Can't move. Locked down. Well, over time, a few days, a few months, that elephant learns when the chain is off, can move, run around. When the chain is on, don't even fight it. You're only gonna hurt your leg. It's only gonna be uncomfortable, and you can't move anyways. Over time, they take that ginormous chain and they make it to a thinner chain and a thinner chain until it's a big rope. And over time, they make that rope thinner and thinner till literally, as long as the elephant sees a string, it is conditioned to believe it cannot move even if it's lit on fire. This is an adult elephant, not a little baby elephant. Once it gets conditioned, it's locked and loaded up. Its neural pathways, its brain is so locked on that it's in a real prison cell. It cannot move past where it thinks that rope is. Now, do I think that works on all elephants? Probably just almost all. I think some elephants probably lit on fire, might freak out and just run. But the majority of them, it works. It works just based on that training. And if training didn't work, we would never be able to work with big, huge, ginormous animals like tigers, lions, giraffes, things like that. If training didn't work, we wouldn't be able to do that. So that's what happens with elephant training. And how does that work with people? Well, if a person is told that they can't have what they want long enough, they will have that locked on, and no matter what happens, they could never get what they want, or they could barely get close to what they want, or sometimes they can get what they want, but they have to be outrageously athletic in their mental capacity, their spiritual capacity. They have to press and train very hard, and sabotage is always, they're always facing it inside. They're always hearing that they can't. It's a very, very difficult struggle, and it's a very unfair thing. In the book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, who is a great author, wrote many books, advisor to many U.S. presidents, and a student of the world's richest man from 1900s, hand-picked student, worked for this richest guy in the world for 20 years as his assistant in downloading how to grow wealthy. And he was the richest guy in the world. He didn't like poverty. He wanted to teach other people before he died. You know, oh, I should do something before I die. He wanted to teach people how to grow wealthy. So he had this author work for him for free for 20 years, wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. And one of the lines in the book said, human beings, there's so many laws and rules and regulations to prevent one human being from just destroying his fellow or her fellow next to her. All these laws and rules to prevent us from tearing each other apart. One of the most atrocious things in humanity, he said, was that there's no law for psychologically manipulating another person. I mean, literally, just walking up to someone and telling them you can't do it. And you say that to someone enough, and you say it in creative ways, in the right ways, you say it with good hypnotic language programming, and it just starts to affect the majority of the people. And if you want to call it weak, you'd be wrong. You'd be wrong. Because some people are really good at taking a motor apart and putting it back together, and they could get an F in school. But they can build you a car and invent maybe a new motor. While the person who gets straight A's can't invent shit. So it's really each human being has their own capacity, their own gift and talent and beauty to deliver to their fellow man and their fellow woman. So if someone is more easily susceptible to that weapon, it just means that really we need to be compassionate to that person a bit and help them out, help them pick that up, because they might have some beautiful talent that saves your life at the right time. So I really suggest everybody to start to learn a little bit. Well, not everybody, not the 5% of human beings that are sociopathic that would love nothing than to stomp on your hopes and dreams and laugh when you are offended or hurt or stopped or delayed. Not those people. We want the good people to learn about the power of the subconscious mind. Get some books on it. Learn about it. Learn about what's called framing and linguistics. And if it's a little bit boring, it's only because you haven't learned enough about it, you haven't heard about it, and they really haven't taught it to you in school. They taught you how to be good worker bee and do your homework. They didn't teach you about the true power of thinking, which comes from subconscious patterning, language, linguistic imprinting. Learn about it, because you'll turn your TV off right away, because the whole television's filled with it. Many of the newspapers and most of the authorities all have special script writers designed to trigger feelings in you so that you're a follower and not your own person, not your own leader. Bless you, empower yourself, and break free.